Welcome to a new blog. This is Momita. The weekend started with a rainy morning in Singapore, but I was not complaining as I didn't need to go out and face 10 degrees outside like New Zealand. Hats off to those who carried on their daily routine even in that weather. Anyway, it was time for me to get back to my daily routine in Singapore and start the day with some breakfast. The paneer sandwich was on the breakfast menu. Since it was the weekend, I could take my sweet time to prepare the sandwiches. The unpacking process was halfway and the suitcases were waiting to return to the storeroom. The pile of laundry was another hurdle to overcome before we could say we were back to our normal lives after the holiday trip. And then there were lunches and dinners to take care of. But the normal routine also had its charm, and I appreciated it even more after any trip, long or short. I was not supposed to be on the road all the time anyway. Moreover, the comfort of enjoying home cooked meals and sleeping on a clean bed had no comparison to the complimentary breakfast buffets and fluffy beds in hotels. Life might not always mean adventures. However, mundane daily life is also not the constant one, especially in an Indian household where the last few months of every year are dotted with some festival or another. Navaratri was around the corner. Well, it was Navaratri for someone, whereas for Bengalis like us, it was Durga Pujo. Usually, we flew to India to celebrate Pujo with our immediate families every year, except during the pandemic when we had no other option but to stay back. However, we stayed in Singapore this year too. But that didn't mean we couldn't get into the festive mood and plan for some shopping for our little one on a Sunday. Singapore celebrates its fair share of Durga Pujo, but before shopping, it was time for some paid pujo. Our destination was Nandhana's restaurant in Ferrar Park and had lunch there. We were out of Nandhana's at 2:43 pm and started for Harbour Front, a couple of metro stations away from Ferrar Park. We decided to walk towards Little India metro station after a heavy lunch. The Diwali decorations were already up and the festive vibe was difficult to ignore in this part of Singapore. We reached the Vivo City shopping mall in Harbour Front. This shopping mall is a shopper's paradise. Although it was supposed to be mini shopping day, I ended up buying a pair of shoes from the Pretty Fit store. Just like the name, the shoes were pretty, fitted well, and most importantly were affordable, making me add one more pair to the shoe rack. the shoes might not be an apt choice to go with traditional wear during this festive season, but then who cared? I was eyeing for one such pair for quite some time and finally got my golden chance to put my feet inside them. This one cost 89 Singapore dollars. But shopping for our 5-year-old turned out to be a challenge. We would go for only one dress as she already had gowns and traditional wear stuffed in her wardrobe. So picking one out of so many choices became quite a task and took almost an hour for us to decide. We shopped for just 2 items, but the search operation for them in the huge mall made us tired. So it was time to recharge with a hot cup of tea from the toast box and gear up for the celebrations. That's it for today, but please watch this space for the upcoming vlog and don't forget to hit the like, share and subscribe buttons so that you know it's time for us to meet again in a new video.